Interested in doing business with the government?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then we'll jump right in and get started. So let's jump into Woman Owned. So the Woman Owned Small Business Program was created back in 2011. So we waited a really long time to have a gender-based program. That's just not something that's been done on the federal side. They typically shy away from something like that. But finally, the women got a program that's just for us. If you are a woman, you own at least 51% in your company, along with some other eligibility requirements that we'll go through in just a second, you're pretty much ready to roll. So now, like as I mentioned on the slides towards the beginning, you can push to have your customer set aside opportunities into the Woman-Owned Small Business Program if this is a certification that you hold. One of the things I wanted to update you with on this slide is that as of July 15th, the certification process changed. All right. And so what they've done is they've created a new system called beta.certified.sba.gov. I know they made it so long and difficult for us to have to type all that into the web browser. But this is the new website for WOSB applications. If you're participating in this webinar and you previously received your WOSB because you submitted your application in certified.sba, that is no longer valid. You must now reapply in the new system, which is beta.certified. Your information that's sitting in certified.sba did not migrate over into this new system. So this system has no idea that you received certification previously. It's like starting, it's not like it is, your application from scratch. I personally have to do it myself. I've started the process. The system is fairly easy to use. It's similar to certified.sba, but it's different in some areas, not different bad, just a little bit different, but I need to finish mine. And so with you, it's just going to take you some time to get it all in there. But what I will tell you is that the information that you uploaded in certified.sba is still there. That's going to be there until sometime later in this year. But at some point, it won't be. So if you want to make things easier on yourself, go into certified.sba, download all the documents that you placed into that system, and then re-upload them into beta.certified. But again, the old system is out. This is the new system. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that the last bullet, you are not required to utilize a third-party certifier to put together your WOSB application. You don't have to hire a consultant. It's not mandated. What SBA did for this program is they certify a few organizations to say, if those firms just want someone else to do it, they could either hire their own consultant or they could also utilize one of these 4 organizations, which have been approved by SBA to package the application for them. All right, you have choices, but I wanted to bring to your attention that when you see this, if you go to sba.gov and you're reading all the information about the WOSB program, don't think that you must hire someone. You do not. You could literally go into beta.certified, create your user ID and password, and it'll prompt you, upload your information. No need to hire anyone if you choose to do it yourself. And no, that is not self-certification. That is you applying for your EDWOSB or your WOSB. If you hire one of these organizations, that account will still need to be created with your user ID and password. It's just that instead of you sitting there uploading the information and answering all the questions, you've hired someone else to do that part for you. But pretty much you'll still need to create the user ID and password in the beta.certified system, whether you hire someone or whether you do it yourself, okay? Didn't want you to think that the certification is different just because you went in and created the account on your own, all right? This gives you some of the eligibility requirements. So, well, not really, it's eligibility and it's also a little bit about the program. So let's just do a top-down approach here. I kind of like my top down. So in the first row over here in green, you have a link to the NAICS codes that are associated with this program. This program is NAICS code driven. So you must have a particular NAICS code in order to apply. It's not enough to be 51% or more owner of the company and you are a woman. Not enough. You must be in a particular industry. So this is industry related. So I've given you a link to all of the codes for the WOSB program, as well as for the EDWOSB program. So you will simply look at the codes, try to find one. If you find none, that means your industry is not appropriate for this certification, even if you meet all other requirements. Again, it's NIATS code driven. The second, under 8A, a customer can sole source a contract to you. We meet, I love you, I like you, I think you'll be a great fit for this cybersecurity contract. I kept the dollar value, base year plus option years under 4 million. I can sole source those types of opportunities to you all day, every day. That's 8A. Under woman-owned small business, yes, there's a sole source, but after they invoke the rule of two. So that means for the WSB and the EDWSB, I must have at least 2 companies that can provide those services, at least 2. So with those 2, I will then make my selection. But what I'm not able to do is just sole source that opportunity to you right off the bat. I cannot. I must create competition. And in creating competition, I must be able to state in my contracting file that I attempted to find at least 2 companies that actually provide these same services. And then I've made my selection from there. So again, you will see something that says woman-owned small business, sole source, sole source. Sole source only comes into connection when and only when the contracting officer first invokes the rule of two. And then if she cannot find a second and you're the only resource that can provide those services and or products, then they can sole source that opportunity to you. All right. And then as you see in the last, the limits are the same. The limits are 4 million for WSB set aside contracts, for EDWSB set aside contracts, to keep them under that sole source function, meaning I'm choosing you after I invoke the rule of two, must be 4 million. Base plus all option years cannot exceed 4 million. All right. And then for manufacturing is 6.5. And these are some of the eligibility requirements when you're seeking the WOSB certification. So pretty much how this goes is you must be small. We know that's based on your code. The individual that's applying for the Woman-Owned Small Business Program must be, they must own unconditionally 51% of the company, as well as be a U.S. citizen. That individual must manage the day-to-day operations of the business, must make the long-term decisions, should hold the highest officer position and be compensated more than anyone else in the building, must work full-time in the business, no outside employment. This is another one of those no outside employment type of situations. Just keep in mind, they can be a little bit more lenient under this program versus 8A. It's a flat no. You just cannot. Not unless we're talking an evenings, weekend situation and you can thoroughly explain that, how that works and how it doesn't affect your ability to run your company during the hours in which the government is open. But under this one, they can be a little bit more lenient with that. Can Monica clearly say to you that yes, without a shadow of a doubt, that they'll, with outside employment, they might let you in? I can't say that. It's on a case-by-case basis. You need to write up your narrative and explain to SBA how you're able to make this business work. Operating in the federal space it's a full-time deal. It's full-time. It's all day, every day. It's grinding it out every single day. So to be splitting my time between that and something else, I just don't know how effective I could really operate my business when I'm pulled in so many different directions. That's why the no outside employment rule exists, is to protect you from yourself, to be honest with you, to keep you from biting off more than you can chew and not really making a success because you're unable to devote the full time that's necessary. Federal procurement is a beast. Trust me, it's going to take you, it's going to take all of your time, all of your energy. It's definitely not a hobby or a side job. All right. So again, they might be a little bit more lenient with you. And then I mentioned this already when Terry asked, there is no time in business requirement. All right. In addition to the slide we just went over, which was for the Woman-Owned Small Business Program, which is WOSB, if you want to also seek the designation of EDWOSB, which is Economic Disadvantaged Woman-Owned Small Business, you must meet all the eligibility criteria from the previous slide that we went over, as well as this one. These limits are identical to 8A. So if you want to be deemed economically disadvantaged, your personal net worth cannot exceed 750, same 3 exclusions. Your adjusted gross income average over 3 years cannot exceed 350, same as 8A. And then your total assets cannot exceed 6 million, identical to the 8A program. All right. Benefits, pretty much it's the same as with 8A. The ability for sole source, the ability for set aside, the ability to have a cybersecurity contract, which was once full and open. You're speaking to the contracting officer. It's under 4 million. She's willing to consider placing it into the WSB program. And that's a certification that you hold. There you go. You know, that's the biggest benefit of the program. Okay. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.